Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. And what did they say? Here we go. That's right, jumping on late this evening as mass reports coming out that the deal for Newcastle to sign Elanga, for Newcastle United to buy a, first team player for the first time in ages is kicking off this evening. It's been ages since I've done a video this late in the evening, 9:30 at night. Would normally wait till the next morning, but everyone's jumping online. Everybody's loving it, and I wanted to come on and talk about it with you guys. So before we do, and if you are happy to see, hopefully, again, count no chickens till they're hatched, but if you would be happy to see Elanga join Newcastle United, drop a like on this video. Going to get into the cost, the price, what's going on, and hopefully seeing him in a Newcastle kit very, very soon. That's right, there's no denying that this is a player we have been chasing for a while, not just this summer window, January window, previous summer window. It's someone Eddie Howe's had his eyes on, and we have just been waiting to hear a little bit more about it, and in the hope that we could get this deal done, dusted, over the line. Every other expression you want to use on that one. The weekend came in, there was a lot of excitement. The thought was that Newcastle had finally got to that middle ground with Forest on a price, and we were just waiting to kind of hear that it had been given the go-ahead. Well, as I say, this evening, Keith Downey, Sky Sports, Craig Hope, Daily Mail, Luke Edwards, Telegraph, David Ornstein from The Athletic. It's not often that they all agree at the same time or something. It pretty much sounds like the go-ahead has been given to the journalists to confirm this one online. Now, the reports actually are that Elanga himself is away on holiday in Portugal. I mean, we've seen him dancing with Asula. Is that where they are, enjoying themselves in the sun? But that Newcastle would like to have the medical for the player done in the next 2 days, in the next 48 hours, and that he can basically join up with the squad ASAP. Whew. Very, very excited about this one. Hope to see him in a Newcastle top very soon. As I mentioned, the Newcastle players were back in pre-season today. Eddie Howe said he wanted players in before pre-season, or at least as soon as possible. And this is kind of what we spoke about at the end of last week. Fair enough. I would love for us to look abroad, love for us to look for a few deals, but someone like Elanga, Premier League proven, great goals, assist ratio, was putting them on a plate for Chris Wood. Just imagine what he could do for Alexander Isak. So as I say, in terms of price, what was initially reported was Newcastle offered 45 and Nottingham Forest wanted 60. Newcastle offered 50, Nottingham Forest wanted 60. Newcastle offered 55, Nottingham Forest wanted 60. But the reports over the weekend were that we were bridging that gap. Well, what's said here this evening is in fact that Newcastle have agreed on a deal of 52 million plus bonuses. So could it well be that it's 52 million and maybe Newcastle do actually get closer to the 60 with those bonuses included? If he plays that many games, which he probably will, they'll get some extra money. If he scores many goals and assists, which is obviously what Newcastle hope for, and should he do so, will be worth that little bit of extra push on the money side as well. So yeah, I think the big thing for me is that we do just get it done. We do just get it over the line. The thought was that the money to stretch across Trafford, Pedro and Elanga for those three was going to be tough. And as I've mentioned previously, it would definitely seem like as Pedro made the decision to go to Chelsea, Newcastle were then left with Trafford and Elanga. And I think at this time, when Eddie Howe just wants things done, just wants players through the door, rather than trying to bring a third in, it's like, look, let's just take a little chunk of whatever they were maybe going to put towards Pedro and stick it in the Elanga basket. And it just allows us to kind of go from that 45 closer to the 60 and just get it pushed through. We've spoken about this plenty of times before in previous windows when Newcastle are careful with the money. They don't want to overextend. They don't want to overdo it. But for the sake of 5 million, to have him at pre-season, potentially tomorrow, potentially the day after, or letting it drag until the end of the window, that 5 million could well make up for itself if he gets a full pre-season and he's able to actually be ready for the first game of the season, not bringing him in a day beforehand and then having to work it all out. And he signed a decent length deal on it as well. Reports are that Elanga has signed a 5, or it is 2. Again, it's not happened yet. This is just all of the media outlets saying it is incoming. So David Ornstein himself said Elanga set to do a medical inside 48 hours and will sign a 5-year deal with Newcastle United. Full agreement with Nottingham Forest for the 23-year-old winger, moving to NUFC from Forest, 52 plus bonuses, and to join teammates before the end of the week. So yes, this is the news we wanted to hear. As I've mentioned already, there's been some great names knocking around the reports for Newcastle in the last kind of, well, what had been a very frustrating June leading into July. The discussion was the new PSR window and Newcastle can get moving, and then there was a few days of, well, we aren't hearing very much. I thought we were jumping in, and then literally back end of last week, Trafford, Elanga, Scalvini from over in Italy, Richardson from Fiorentina. There's some great names flying in there, but the weekend went a little bit quiet, and we've woken up this morning hearing that Callum Wilson will not be staying at the club, and it's like, yeah, fair enough, but where are those incomings? And it looks like, as of today, Eddie Howe obviously got into the graft early this morning for the start of pre-season, and is looking to get this one nailed. So yeah, it's good, it's big. I just think we need that name through the door, and a good one to start, a good name to come in, get in the pre-season. It shows the players that are turning up today going, I thought were we not going to try and buy someone going into the pre-season? So the players are looking around going, well, what's going on? So straight away, it's a boost internally. It's a boost for Eddie Howe to get something over the line. It's a position that we've been needing to strengthen for ages. And as I say, behind Salah, funnily enough, Jacob Murphy, Elanga got the third highest most goal contributions this season. So for Newcastle to bring him in is canny good. And as we've discussed already, Eddie Howe's got about 3, 4, 5, 6 players that he's willing to buy, and Elanga has been on that list for some time now. So for him to be the man to come in is a great boost, I think, for the fans to just see us getting in there and doing something. It's a boost for the players who are in training, and hopefully it's going to be a boost for the players on looking as well and going, ooh, Newcastle are meaning business, because, as I say, we are linked to a few other players hoping to join too. And if you are, another player in the Prem who's maybe had chats with Newcastle going, yeah, well, they've offered us something, but they haven't really done a lot of movement of late. Newcastle are making moves now, and we saw this. Well, it's not the same really, but you look back to when the Trippier joined from Cambridge. That was such a catalyst. That was such a moment of, oh wow, they went out and spent some money here. It's not the same because Newcastle are in a different place now, and Trippier was a far more experienced player potentially than Elanga is. But it's still a similar setting, and that, oh wow, yeah, they have gone and bought a player to bring him to Newcastle to play Champions League football, to play with Isak, to play with Bruno, to play with Tonali. It's kind of good. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. A bit of an instant reaction. As I say, it's been a while since I've kind of jumped on for a late evening video like that. But as I say, it's been a while since Newcastle have really kind of had this explosion on social media, throughout all of the media. As I say, it's not often, basically all of them, unless it's like a pre-planned press release, which it kind of feels that way, or certainly someone at Newcastle or someone at Forest. Well, it's all of the Newcastle press, in fairness. Although Keith Downey is Sky Sports, so that is national, it feels like someone at the Toon has basically gone, right, okay, well, hopefully this is going to happen, and literally everyone has just exploded on it, which is pretty good. It's local press, national press, Sky Sports press. Let's hope we see Elanga wandering around St. James's Park in the next few days. Again, drop a like if you were happy to see this. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let's hope this is the first, but not the last late evening video from me getting excited over what looks to be, and I'm not going to say, well, I'm going to say it, but I'm not going to say a done deal, because again, I will be putting that when it happens, but it's looking canny good. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy what's the rest of your evening. Hopefully this can be the start of a very good week, and we can push on for the rest of this summer. Catch you later.